Alright, so this video is going to be for people who are new to Legends of Runeterra and either haven't tried it or have perhaps tried it in the past but dropped it just because it was a bit too complex or they didn't understand some of the mechanics and had a hard time getting into it. I've been playing Legends of Runeterra and Path of Champions, the PvE mode within it, pretty much since its release. Really, if you enjoy games like Slay the Spire, I think this is a great game for that type of person. It has monthly updates with new champions and new content, new adventures and things like that come out continually. And luckily, it's free to play, to try out and enjoy. I would say there definitely are some pay-to-win elements in this game. Those are completely avoidable, and you can earn most of the items by playing for free, but that will require quite a bit of grinding to get there. But I don't think there's any real paywalls in order to access content or do certain adventures and other things that you're trying to do. In general, the only reason I would ever see to put money into the game is if you enjoy it, you want to support the developers, and you want to get sort of earlier access to some of the power and items that come along with it. But that's, in my opinion, it sort of is unnecessary. It's something that really you can work towards, and in fact having those goals to grind to can often work out even better, just because it actually gives you something to do rather than just paying to sort of skip past the grind. So yeah, anyway, I won't go into that point too much. I think what's more important is getting a look at the game itself and what's in here. So in order to get a better perspective on what new players are going to go through, I've actually created a new account here, or I'm using one of my accounts I created a long time ago for Riot, but this was for like a different region, so I've never played Legend of Runeterra on it. As you can see on the launch, here I have the new introduction screen that's trying to get me to go to Path of Champions and try out the PvE mode, which we'll do. And I'm just going to jump in, go through some of the essentially the experience that it gives to a new player, and try to explain some of the mechanics and other items as we go through from sort of a veteran's experience. Try to point out some different things you can do to improve your experience with Legends of Runeterra. So with that, let's jump in. I'll just go ahead and click Continue Adventure here. Curious to see which champions we start out with. So it gives us Jinx. We don't get to select any new champions, so we will go here. We actually have some adventure text and whatnot, so let's just jump in. Alright, so first off, this is just the basic map. Similar to if you've ever played Slay the Spire, there's a bunch of different nodes you can end up traveling to. After each encounter, you'll get different cards that you can choose from to add to your deck. And then you'll get stronger as you go through, and hopefully you can defeat the champion that's at the end of the adventure. First of all, if I right-click on my character down here in the bottom left, you can see which cards I currently have in my deck. So I have 18 cards in my deck. This will have a variety of spells and units that I will be able to play. And I have my main character here, which is Jinx. She has each champion has a special level up where once they achieve their goal effectively, they will go into another version, which provides additional bonuses and stats. And so with her, she wants to empty out your hand, so you have 0 cards in your hand. When that happens, you get the upgraded version, and then each time you have an empty hand after that, you get this super mega death rocket, which causes more damage to their nexus and all the enemies on the board. So Jinx is a character that pretty much is, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, she's like a rush deck. She's trying to burn the enemy's health down as quickly as possible before they are able to establish a presence and really take over the game. So let's first travel to a power node. So this gives us a couple options here. These will affect each of our turns, so we can make sure enemies have less power, make it more difficult for them to do damage to us. We can get a Blade's Edge, which is basically a 1-cost spell that deals 1 damage to anything. This can help for removing things. And then Evolve, this is a little bit more complex. This, once our characters have, we've played characters with 6+ keywords. There's a bunch of different keywords. I won't go into all of them right now, but I'll call them out as we see them in game. But then this basically gives all your units +2/+2, but it has a special condition around it to achieve that. I'm just going to go with Disarm because this will make it a bit easier to get through, especially since I don't have a real leveled up champion. This will just make all the enemies a bit weaker and easier to deal with. Alright, so we're just going to skip through the text here, but this is just some basic story stuff, just to get you into the environment. Alright, so our opening hand, we are only going to have 1 mana gem. So we're going to try to toss some stuff back so that we hopefully get something cheaper that we can play. There we go. We got a 1-cost unit. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. In order to play it, I have to discard, or I can discard a card and draw a card. I can also potentially skip if I wanted to, if I don't feel like drawing an extra card and getting rid of one of these. In this case, I will skip, so I'm just, rather than cycling and drawing a card, I'm just going to toss her down, and then I will end up attacking in. For those who are completely new to Legends of Runeterra, this is a little bit different from other card games like Magic or Hearthstone. With those games, typically you have a player take their full turn, and then the other player takes their full turn. This, in general, acts more like I play a card, you play a card, I play a card, you play a card, and that continues until both players effectively pass their turn, and then the round ends. What determines who's the primary player is who gets this attack token. So, as you could tell on that previous turn, I got the attack token. So I was able to attack in. They didn't have any mana gems, so they couldn't play anything. And then here you can see they've played a character, but now it's my turn. They can't attack yet because they played a card, and that effectively ended their turn. Now I can go ahead and play a card. I want to be able to defend against this, so I'm going to play a character with 3 health so that I can defend without losing any characters. So there we go. And now, because neither of us have mana gems, we couldn't do anything. We both passed, and the round ended. Now you can see I have the attack token again. For this, I am going to go ahead and I could summon a thing. When you do something that bursts speed, that doesn't end your turn. So this would allow me to attack in without them having any defenders. So I can attack in with all this. That'll leave them at 2 health. Now they tossed it down into the card, but they can't defend against all that damage. So here I have another spell. This is again at burst speed, so I can play this without ending my turn. I think I will go ahead and play Jinx here. When you play a champion, other copies of that champion in your hand become the champion spell. So in Jinx's case, this is a spell that lets her discard a card from hand and deal 3 damage to anything. So we will, in this case, defend here, and we're just going to go ahead and remove... Oh, actually, we can even preserve our whole board. This deals 3 damage, so we're just going to use that to remove that threat, and then we'll just block this since she has 3 health. There we go, and now we both have no mana gems. We end the turn, and I can just go ahead and attack in with everything before they have a chance to go. They could potentially have some spells to remove. So here you can see, yep, they're going to remove 2 of my units, but they don't have enough to prevent the rest of the damage from going through, and so they lose that turn. All right. Now, like I said, after each adventure, we get to choose some additional things to add to our deck. In this case, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick this unit here. Potentially, actually, this might be better. This has Overwhelm. This is similar to Trample if you've ever played Magic the Gathering. This is another one of those keywords we were talking about earlier. But this, if you right-click on these things and then hover over them, it'll tell you what it does. But any damage you do over a blocker's toughness will do damage to their Nexus, which is essentially their health. Once their Nexus reaches 0, you win. So we'll go ahead and select that just because Jinx is trying to push damage and make sure that they die as quickly as possible. LeBlanc could be good here. She has a lot of damage, but these are some more expensive cards. Let's just go ahead and select LeBlanc, though. She's fairly aggressive as well. Her units have a lot of power, but not a lot of toughness, so they can be removed pretty easily. But they can push a lot of damage into the enemy Nexus. So now we have a choice. We can go to 2 different adventures. By clicking on them, you can see what sort of triggers or events are happening within that adventure. So in this case, when one of the player's units dies, it plants a poison puff cap in their deck. Poison puff caps are basically a token that ends up on a card in your deck. When you draw that card, you take damage based off how many puff caps it has on it. Here, when any player discards a card, they summon a Scrap Scuttler. So I actually have a lot of discard in my deck. So this would be a much easier adventure for this character. However, if we look a little bit further, we can also see rewards here. We have a gold chest. This will help us earn money to spend in stores and other things like that. Or we have this Scribe of Sorrows. Scribe of Sorrows is actually really good. I guess this is sort of like a in-between adventure event. This allows us to purchase some power-ups for our character. And so we're going to go ahead and go this way because we want to purchase some of those more powerful power-ups. Either one could be valuable, though. Having money for future shops and getting additional powers could also be very good. So we'll go this way. All right. Let's go ahead and toss back one of these. We don't need... we'll actually do 2 of these. We don't need all of that there. There we go. Okay, so this jury rig has a special condition that if it's discarded, it essentially automatically triggers. It summons one of these scrap scuttlers. So I'm going to use this to discard this card, and then I get that free character out there. I'll go ahead and tack in. Alright, they're just gonna... I don't know why the AI decided to remove the lower power creature rather than my high power one, but I think this is trying to make the game a bit easier for us. Let's go ahead and drop down this guy. These have a skill attached to him, so you can see this little dot indicates it's a skill. When he attacks, he automatically does 2 damage, regardless of if he's blocked or not. He does 2 damage to the enemy nexus, so this can help you push more damage through. LeBlanc here has a lot of power but low toughness, but you can see she has this sword. This is quick attack. That essentially works the same as First Strike in Magic, where this character gets to attack. If it kills the other enemy before or has more damage than they have toughness, the other character doesn't get to strike her back. So if he blocks with this 1/3 against her, he will not do any damage to her health. So we'll go ahead and attack in here. He's going to block my 1/2 and remove that. That's fine. Alright, LeBlanc does let me do 2 damage to anything. That's not enough to remove the last bit of health there. Kind of up in the air whether or not I want to... Probably just want to focus on removing their board. So I'm going to drop this. This will give me some spell mana. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this guy and then block here. Something that's, if you want to see sort of what happened, you might have seen there that their character gained 1 power, and wondering why did that happen. If you click this scroll over on the left, this will show you sort of a sequence of events of what happened. And the reason that character gained 1 power is when they used this generated item, this mushroom cloud, their character, this Poro here, had a keyword. I guess it doesn't show the keyword that it had on here, unfortunately, but it had an augment keyword. That means whenever you play a created card, it lets you gain 1 power. So for decks that create a lot of cards, that can be very good. Again, they don't have a board, and we have enough damage to destroy their nexus, so as long as they don't have any removal spells, that should be fairly free. There we go. All right. So you can see these have different, each of the cards I'm obtaining here has different items attached to it. Like here, this is normally a 2-cost unit, but I can make it essentially a 5-cost unit that is a 9/9. So that would be very strong, but it would take a while to have enough mana gems to be able to drop this. Normally, before I have 9 mana gems, I'm already killing the enemy, so I might want to go with one of these instead. I think I'll go ahead and go with this Legion Drummer. She'll have Spell Shield. Spell Shield's another keyword. This negates the first spell, that spell or skill that targets that character. So that can be helpful for preventing enemies from being able to remove your characters. So I'm going to go ahead and grab an additional mana gem for turn 1. This will help us get our board established even quicker. So let's grab that. If we had a little bit more money, we would have been able to buy a second, so then we would have 3 mana gems on turn 1, which would allow us to drop LeBlanc on turn 1, which would be great. But in this case, we don't have enough money, so we'll go ahead and leave that there. We do get a special node here, so this gives our champion Jinx a special ability, Loose Cannon, deal 1 damage to enemy nexus and reduce the cost of mark cards everywhere by 2. So that sounds really good. Let's go ahead and grab that. So here, use Cast Salesman allows us to remove some cards from our deck, I believe. And this item chest will just allow us to add an item to one of the cards that's already in our deck. Let's go ahead, let's see what the encounters are here. This, when a unit is summoned, we shuffle its stats, so that means the toughness and health, basically it just randomizes, it does a total, so if you have, 5, like LeBlanc has 5 power and 2 toughness, that's a total of 7 in stats. It'll just distribute that 7 total randomly across, toughness. So she could be a 0-7, could be a 1-6, could be a, 6-1, or 3-4, any combination that adds up to 7. Here, we have when any player summons a unit that's already in play, they get +1/+1. So this is very beneficial to decks that are dropping a lot of the same unit. I kind of want to get the item upgrade for one of our cards, so I'm going to go ahead and go this way. Alright, we're going to get rid of some of the more expensive cards out of our hand. Alright, so we get that 2. Go ahead and drop that down. We have 2 again, so that extra mana gem only lasted for the first turn. So we can go ahead and drop another one of these. Let's just drop this guy. And we'll attack in.
Again. Go on then.
Let's see. We can. They have 1 more mana, so they could potentially drop something else. Let's just drop this here. Get more power on the board. We can drop a character, and then we can use this to remove something. There we go. We can just go ahead and remove this, and we should be able to do enough damage. Something you might have seen me doing here, probably should have explained it earlier, but something you can do that's very handy in this game that I like, the whole feel of when you're grabbing cards, you can grab multiple cards rather than needing to grab them one at a time and put them out onto the board. You can just sort of grab one and then sweep up the other cards and then drop them all. I'll try to slow down and do that next time I'm in a match here. I'm going to go ahead and just add some power to this character. This character refills some spell mana when I drop them, so that's very good for me. Alright, and this will allow us to do damage to the enemy nexus. We're trying to burn down the enemy nexus, so this will let us get there even quicker. So let's go ahead and just grab that. We could buy some additional copies of it, so we just added 1 copy to our deck. let's go ahead and grab another. Let's do a reroll and see if we can get some other items. Round start, this has a flow, which basically this activates if we've played 2 spells or skills in the last round. I get some free spell mana. And then this also has Spirit, which is basically, this is like tokens in, or +1/+1 counters in Magic the Gathering. So you can have multiple Spirit stacks or multiple Spirit tokens on your character, and each one will give that an additional +1/+1. So let's go ahead and grab 2 of this guy as well, and then we'll leave it at that. When we get to this one, the healer, we could either, if we had less than full health, we didn't take any damage throughout our adventure, but we would have been able to heal. Later on, you're also able to cut cards from your deck at these, but I think because this is early on, they haven't added that mechanic in yet. They don't want to confuse players with too many options early on. So, all right, we'll just go through the adventure text here, go into the fight. Alright, so we have a 2-cost unit we can drop on the first round. We have a champion here. We have some removal, so let's just go ahead and keep this. So we will drop down this guy. And then I'm going to go ahead and attack in. I don't have multiple things, so I can't show you the sweep there, but we'll just end our turn.
Observe and go.
I'm most likely just, let's see, I can defend against that guy if I drop this one, so let's do that.
No stone unturned.
There we go, just defend against him. End our turn. I'll drop this down so we get our champion out there. Oh, he has removal. I'm not able to do anything about that, so unfortunate, but lost our champion there. So here, like I was showing before, or talking about before, I can just grab this card, and rather than having to, drag one out, then drag another out, I can just grab one and then sweep up the other cards and then drop both down. So it's just sort of quality of life, makes it easier to handle the cards as you're playing. Alright, they don't really have any big threats here, but I'm going to go ahead and discard a card, draw a card, get some more things down on the board. We'll go ahead and just defend against this guy with this one. This guy has less health, so it would be easier for him to remove this with a spell, so I'm just going to get rid of that one. Alright, now we could attack in, but that wouldn't be enough to kill them right now. So let's go ahead and first drop this. We'll get some spell mana. This will allow us to use some removal before the fight. And let's also drop this guy in. See if they, spend some more of their mana. So let's go ahead and remove that guy. And then we'll attack in threaten lethal here. So they have to defend. We end up removing their whole board. Alright, we finally got Jinx. Let's just go ahead and toss her down. We get that spell so we can deal 1 damage to the enemy nexus, and we reduce the cost of all of our cards. So this allows us to drop everything here. Let's just go ahead and I'm just going to get rid of these because that'll allow me to clear my board and we can see Jinx's level up. So you remember her level up is that my hand is empty. So now that I dropped her, my hand's empty. And I can go ahead and use that Super Mega Death Rocket. We can't really do anything else here, so we'll just end the turn. But now we could do a similar thing. We could just attack in, and we should be able to win. We could also just play all of our cards, and we would trigger the Super Mega Death Rocket again, get one of those in our hands, and we would be able to win that way as well. But this was easy enough. Alright, so that's the first adventure that they send you through. I'm curious if they show you any metagame progression after this, or if they just send you into more adventures. So we earned some champion EXP that will give us more long-term power for this character. We get some legend points. This has sort of a track that we get some rewards for as we accumulate more legend points, and we get some wild fragments. This will allow us to upgrade champions and whatnot to make them more powerful, and this can be used for any champion. It's not specific to a single one. Alright, so now it's telling us to complete objectives to get additional rewards. Alright, so we have some objectives here. It wants us to star up Jinx. That'll give us some legend points. So here you can see what we get from different legend points. If we get another 2,000 legend points, we can get additional rewards, and we will get additional quests for each week that also give us rewards. We get up to 4, we get some rare content in our adventures. So a lot of these early ones just add more mechanics to our game. So this allows us to get relics unlocked, which is a key feature that really allows you to enhance a lot of the power for characters outside of the game. Or sort of meta progression, I should say. Get additional cards in shops, and get more weekly adventures. Epic, can see some epic drops in adventures, and this will give us more character shards. Yeah, so here's the one I was talking about earlier, where at healers you can now start removing cards from your deck. So anyway, you can look through these. You just get a bunch of different upgrades by getting those legend points. So let's go back up here. This double scroll, this shows us where we can get all those points. So if we defeat Teemo, we'll get 1,000. Star up Jinx, we'll get 500, and then if we reach Legend level 3, we get 500, but that's that won't get us to level 3. We will be 500 short of level 3 if we do that. Is there any other? Doesn't look like. So most likely we'll need to complete these, and then we'll get some other options. We get some free Jinx shards if we complete her with at try a 1-star difficulty adventure. These are still 0 stars, so we don't have any 1-star adventures yet. It looks like we do have some rewards here. So if for enabling 2-factor authentication, you can get a prismatic chest. This is actually for the base Legends of Runeterra game. It also sort of impacts in terms of just cosmetic stuff for Path of Champions, but Looks like we get anniversary reward and collect Path of Champion rewards. All right, do we get something special here? Okay, that gave us cards for the base game, or the PvP sort of version of the game. Let's go in here. So we're gonna take a look at the constellations. We have those wild shards, which can allow her to get up to 1 star. We'll just go ahead and do that, because we do know we get some rewards for it. Normally I would save my wild shards, but because this is sort of the beginning of the game tutorial, this wants to show us how we get all those things. So we got that reward. It looks like we can now get even more shards for Jinx by defeating Garen and defeating Lulu. So we'll probably have some quests to do that. We'll check that out. And then if we do more adventures, we will get shards for other champions. We'll get one of these golden reliquaries, so that should be good. So here we got our 500 legend points. Again, that's going to get us closer, so now we're 500 out of 2,000 towards unlocking these weekly quests. So let's go ahead and take a look here. These weekly quests, you can see they're locked right now, so we can't do that on her. The only other option we have is to do the Swift Scout adventure. It looks like once we hit 2-star with Jinx, we'll get another adventure here where we can go up against Darius. So let's try to get through some of these. This will reward us with a bronze vault, which should get us some more champion shards. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, we got some other options here. I think starting off with a sparring student. So this, whenever I summon another ally, it gets +1/+1. Having just a unit on the board right at the start of the game is great for Jinx, so we'll do that. All right. We don't have any 1 costs in this opening hand, so I'm going to go ahead and toss a couple things. I'd prefer to keep Jinx for future rounds. Actually, let's toss this guy and keep our 3/3. There we go. We got a 1 cost here, so we can summon a character on turn 1. Oh, we have, so I forgot to mention, we got Jinx's 1-star. This makes it so whenever we play or discard a card, we deal 1 damage to the enemy nexus. So that's why you saw, as I played that card, it made the nexus take 1 there. So this helps us end games even quicker just by playing cards. So if we play lots of cheap cards, we will destroy their nexus fairly quickly. So they're attacking in. We'll just go ahead and defend with this guy since he doesn't get the buffs from us dropping additional cards. Let's actually drop this because this will guarantee some damage through next turn. Here we will discard the jury rig, so this will essentially have 2 cards. There we go. That get played out there. And now we should be able to finish them off. Quick tip for people who are starting out, by the way. When you initially start, I believe your essentially the speed of animations, if it feels like it's a bit too slow for you, you can adjust this. I believe it's in the video settings. You go down here. So here, Path of Champions in-game animation speed. it might even default to this. It has it at 3x. But if you feel it's too fast or not fast enough, you can adjust this so that it's a bit slower or faster. I tend to run all my stuff on 4x, but in this case, I'm just going to leave it with what it gave me initially. I'm curious if that came over from my other account. If this is just what it's set at on my general account, and that the settings sort of carry over on my local PC. I'm not 100% sure there, but yeah, I already have it at 3x. I think that's plenty fast for me. But if you see it going slower for you, that's how you can go in and change it. Philios here is a bit cheaper champion. He generates more cards for me. Like we were mentioning earlier, we want to sort of have things on the cheaper side, so we're just throwing down units. So let's go ahead and select that. Let's go to this barkeep again with the shuffle. This will bring us to a shop where we can buy additional items and powers and such. So let's go there. Alright, so we got a 1 cost and 2 cost. Let's toss these guys out. Oh, I didn't explain this earlier. So this keyword, elusive, is very similar to flying from Magic. So basically, in Magic, only flying creatures can interact with other flying creatures. I think there's an exception in Magic with Reach. This has a very similar. Elusives can only interact with elusives in terms of blocking and attacking, but there is also Sharp Sight, which is like Reach in Magic, where characters with Sharp Sight are able to block elusive units, but they can't, when they're attacking, they're just like normal units. So, but we'll go ahead and toss him back. All right. Let's put her out here. That way every time we draw, she gets additional power. Now, we can put this down and summon this guy. So you can see this is getting more powerful the more characters I'm dropping down. Now, I only need to summon a couple more units. And if I discard one of these, this will do 2 damage there. It looks like they're not doing anything, so we just get a free win. Alright, this lets us just do more damage to anything, so we can push more damage into their Nexus. It does have Manifest. This lets us add more cards to our hand. We're not necessarily looking to add cards to our hand, but I think this is probably the best option. We also have Invoke over here. And it also has another item, so you'd actually invoke twice when you do this. Invoke has a special deck of celestial cards. I don't think I can see them here, but this effectively allows you to choose one of those cards. These are very powerful cards, typically, from that special set, but they can. Some of them can be very expensive. Some of them are cheap, but yeah, this will effectively add 2 different cards to your hand, and then this one. Is just going to deal damage to units or landmarks and give an ally some buffs that are in our deck. But I think in this case, we're going to go for the cheaper damage spell that's more flexible. Here, again, we can buy some cards for our deck. None of these look great, though this discarding Discarding is somewhat powerful for us because, as we mentioned with the power here, whenever we discard a card, it deals a damage to the enemy nexus, and when we play a card, we deal damage. So just dropping this guy does 2 damage to their nexus. So let's go ahead and grab a couple copies of him. That way we can toss more units out and just push damage to their nexus. All right. This is a decent opening hand. It's not too bad, so let's just keep everything here. All right, we'll do our discard and draw. And we'll do another discard. We'll just go ahead and discard this spell. And we'll attack in with everything. You can see how that power really makes it so the damage to their deck happens quite quickly. Oh yeah, another thing you can see, if you hover over this eye, this will sort of give you a preview of what is going to happen as a result of the fight. So here you can see they're attacking in. My Nexus health will be removed by 2, so it'll go down to 23. However, if I block here, now you can see both of these characters will be removed, and the Nexuses will stay at the same health. So we'll click OK there. I'm just going to go ahead and toss some more damage to the Nexus. It's going to do 3 damage there, and I get to select another card to manifest. And now I'm going to attack you. Alright, let's grab an item chest. Yeah, just getting a barrier on one of our units is good, and having more of this cheap unit that discards cards is great for us. So let's pick her up. None of these are very cheap. We could use a reroll if we want. Maybe we can get some more cheap cards. Here we go, this guy's decently cheap. He has Augment that makes it so whenever we play a created card, he gets extra power. He has Last Breath, which is, if you play Hearthstone, it's like Death Rattle. Basically, this is an ability that happens when the unit dies. It'll create this landmark, which is Crest of Insight. And when this, essentially the next turn, you will get an extra mana gem. So if normally you would have 2 on that turn, instead you'll have 3. So again, we're at full health, so we don't really need to heal. We'll go ahead and fight Teemo here. All right, we got a 1 cost. Got a discard here. Let's see if we can get some more low cost units. All right, so Teemo has a landmark out here. This makes it so round start, each player draws an additional card. So that'll be a bit annoying because he is going to plant puff caps in my deck. As I explained earlier, those puff caps will end up on different cards, and then if I draw that card, my Nexus is going to take damage. Unfortunately, I don't have any way to remove Teemo right now, and he has elusive, and I have no elusive characters. So I'm going to end up getting attacked by him, and he is going to plant some mushrooms in my deck. So if I draw too many cards, that will end up removing, I'll end up taking damage as I draw them. So I am going to go ahead and discard this card, get more characters out on the board. Oh, as you can see, I drew Jinx. She had a puff cap on her, and that made my Nexus take additional damage. Now I'm going to attack in. Most likely this is going to block this character, but we'll just force it. Yep. And actually end up getting rid of Teemo as well, which is great. They might have another copy of him in their deck. We are going to pass here, I think. We have some removal spells, so if they just attack in, we can go ahead and remove that character. Let's get another one of these. So that, sorry, I should have gone through that. This had Predict on it. Predict lets us choose the next, so to look at the top 3 cards of our deck, we can choose one of them, and then that means that the next time we draw, we will draw that card. So we chose one of these urchins, so that means if I discard a card here, I should draw another one of those. So as you can see, I now drew this. So ended up drawing some more puff caps, very unfortunate, but I have plenty of health, so really not too much to worry about. We could drop Jinx, and then we can push through our damage, where he's going to end up blocking this, but we got enough damage to win the game here, so not a problem. All right. So we're earning a bunch of stuff. There's currently a battle pass event going on. This happens every month. There's a new battle pass that you get some free rewards on. So that's why you see at the end of each match we're getting some progress towards some champion shards for the Poro King. But if we want to try to get those rewards earlier, we can again look over here. All these things here will help us get those rewards. So just by winning games, we get these little tokens that go towards our battle pass, attacking with at least 2 units that have 5+ power, or dealing damage with units that have augment. Playing champions gets us progress, and playing the same spell twice in a match gets us more progress. So, and then you can see these say like 1 out of 12, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 8. As we complete these, we'll have new ones that pop up that can give us even more progress. Right now we don't have many champions or other things to that'll give us rewards, so we're just going to keep going through. Okay, it looks like with that we did hit Legend level 3, so now we should have unlocked some weekly quest rewards, and we can get more Path of Champion rewards here. So there we go, there's our unlock. Just get some more legend points. All right. We are close to unlocking Yasuo. Complete all Chapter 1 quests to unlock Yasuo. So, we have here a quest to go against Warwick. Okay, we have monthly challenges. I guess we don't have this will probably unlock later. I think monthly challenges we don't have unlocked yet, right? Weekly. It's probably much later on here. Yeah, monthly challenges, we don't get that till level 15, so can't do anything with that just yet. We do, does this swap champions? Yeah, so here, this is a list of all the different champions. There's a ton of champions in here. As we get additional shards and whatnot, we'll be able to unlock additional characters that we can play. So right now, we just have Jinx. As we continue to complete some of these quests, we'll be able to unlock more. We don't have any relics right now, unfortunately, so nothing we can equip her with and make her stronger, but we should be able to earn some of those soon. Let's go to weekly adventures. Is that not unlocked with this? I'm sorry, the wrong thing. Weekly quests. So, okay, so that's different. So we got weekly quests. So we get this quest here to play cards that cost 6+ mana, and this will get us some some rewards. We should have some daily quests, but we might have already completed that. All right. Anyway, let's just jump into another thing. Let's try to get, if we complete a 1-star difficulty adventure, which I think we had the option for one over here. This is 1-star difficulty. We also have some new quests over here. This is also 1-star difficulty with Garen. I think, didn't we have something where if we defeat Garen and somebody else, we get rewards? Yeah, if we defeat Garen and Lulu, we get 20 shards for her. So let's actually go ahead and do that first. So let's do Garen and then Lulu. As we can see here on our constellation map for Jinx, this will take 20 shards, but then we'll get her to rank 2, which will allow us to have +1 starting mana, and when we level up any champion, we get a Super Mega Death Rocket in hand. So that +1 starting mana is huge for completing harder adventures. So let's just go ahead and go right for that. Alright, spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. This is pretty good for Jinx. We have a lot of spells and skills in our deck, so and we're just trying to push through damage, so that works out well for us. Alright, we have Pow Pow, removal spell. I think the rest of this is fine. I just want some low cost units to toss out. I can toss this at any time. I can use spell mana to get it out, so no reason to get it out this turn. This will do extra damage, as we mentioned. Normally this is 2 damage, but you can see it's been modified to 3 because of that power we got, where our spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. So we'll go ahead and just toss this down and attack in. Already got their Nexus down to 3 health. We should be able to discard a card, and then I'll get them down to 1. Now we only need to just play 1 card, and their deck will be, or their Nexus will be dead. So let's just go ahead and play a card. There we go. Jinx is able to win adventures quite quickly. Alright, again, Mystic Shot. this is a good card for us. Just allows us to deal damage to anything. So it'll help us destroy their Nexus even faster. Again, we're just going to go for cheap cards over here. This has some other mechanics that we can also deal with. This has equipment. This allows us to attach an item to a character, and it'll give them bonuses. So in this case, it'll give them +1/+1. This also interacts with equipment. The first time we equip an ally, this character gains tough, which is another keyword that makes them take less damage. And then Vayne, her level up is just attacking multiple times. She also, at round start, puts a Tumble in your hand. So Tumble is a 4-mana card that allows you to equip an ally with an equipment that costs 2 or less, and then start an attack. So that can be very helpful for ending games quicker. So we'll take her. We can go to the shop, or just get a spell. Normally I would always go to the shop, but we haven't unlocked the feature of the shop yet where you can buy powers. So in this case you can just add more cards to your deck. I'm less interested in that right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and go this direction. Alright, we got some removal, got some additional cheap cards. Let's go ahead and just keep this. Go ahead and just discard this guy. Attack in. Get more damage in. Go ahead and remove that. We could equip her. Could also just discard a card. Let's toss down an ally and see what they do. Okay, so he has 3 attack. We can just remove him, and that'll allow us to force through 5 damage here. So let's do that. That way next turn they're at 2 health. I can just drop this, and he will discard a card, deal a damage, and just dropping him deals damage. So easy win. Alright, this interacts well with discard. When he's discarded, he creates another stronger character in hand. So that can be quite good for us, just because we're often discarding cards. We could also make our equipment stronger. So this will make it so rather than +1/+1, this will give a character +2/+2. And this guy just interacts with equipment. When you equip an ally, it gives you an extra card in hand. This will create an ephemeral. Ephemerals are units that once they attack or once they deal damage or strike anything, they disappear. Or they will just disappear naturally at the end of the round if they don't. So typically ephemerals are stronger, but they die a lot easier. So let's go ahead and just grab this guy, because we deal a lot with discard. This lets us draw more cards, so we can discard 2 cards and we can get our champion. This is pretty good for us. This will give us some discard damage, so this will let us damage both their Nexus and characters on the board. And it has this item here that'll summon a follower equal to the cost. So this will both drop a 2-cost unit and deal damage and discard. So I think this is going to be the strongest for us. So let's just grab that. Alright, if the foe dealt damage to the enemy nexus this round, deal 1 damage to the player's weakest unit. So we want to avoid them dealing damage to our nexus, otherwise they will deal more damage to our board. It's a nice opening hand. We can just discard this Fallen Rider with this, and then get the stronger version. There we go, we got the Risen Rider. And let's go ahead and toss our Risen Rider down. He has Fearsome, so this is another keyword. This will make it so that characters that don't have 3 power can't block him, so she can't block him. In this case, she can only block this character. There we go. Let's do another discard here. So we'll discard this guy, deal 1 damage here and 1 damage, or actually 2 damage, because we have that power again. So this does 2 damage to character, 2 damage to nexus. So that's great. Let's go ahead and toss out this guy. We only have 3 damage, or 3 health left with their nexus, so we can just go ahead and send that to their face. Right, you can see we're getting closer to getting some more legend power and wild fragments just by winning more battles in Path of Champions. Sort of a daily thing that you can do and earn more wild shards just daily through that. Let's take this Astute Academic again. She has Spirit, so she'll have an additional +1/+1 token on her. And then we'll get an item for one of our existing cards here. This is a good combo because when we summon her, we get spell mana, and now with this item, we will also get to draw a spell, so that'll make it so we can then use that spell mana, hopefully with the spell that we draw. So that's a good combination. We again are at full health, so we'll just heal. We're going up against Ash here. If the foe has the attack token, they frostbite our weakest unit. So that means it'll be harder to deal with their board. Frostbite makes it so that that character has 0 power. So yeah, then you're not able to damage things back very easily. We'll go ahead and discard this rider again, get the stronger version. Let's toss him out. He won't be able to block this one, but he can block her. That's fine. Attack in. Now we'll see, they have the attack token, so it frostbit this character. Let's use this card that we got here, so we get the extra mana. Okay, so this does 4 damage if the character has 0 power. They had 0 power from that initial frostbite, so they're going to be able to remove this guy. We, however, can also remove this. So this character has ability round start. It's going to frostbite the strongest enemy, so that would happen every round start. They're going to essentially make it more difficult for me, so I'm going to remove that. And let's go ahead and equip this character, make it harder for them to remove her. Now, I think we can just drop this character and attack in, and we threaten lethal. They might have something to defend, but it looks like they don't. No spells that prevented my characters from being able to attack in. All right. Let's put Fearsome on Vayne. Vayne's just cheaper. We're more likely to get her out and around. So let's just go ahead and grab her. Oh, this is good. So this puts a Fleeting Blade's Edge in our hand. This is especially good now that we have that power. Again, when you play a card or discard a card, deal 1 damage to the enemy nexus. This adds a fleeting card to our hand, and what fleeting does is it means that if you don't play that card, it gets discarded at the end of your turn. So even if I don't play this card, it'll automatically deal 1 damage at the end of each turn to their nexus. Also, because I have the power where spells and skills have +1 damage, this will actually, instead of dealing 1 damage, it'll deal 2. So I can play it to deal 2 damage to anything, or I can just leave it in my hand, let it get discarded, and the nexus will take damage at the end of the turn. So great skill combo there. Let's go ahead and head up here and try to get another item for one of our pieces. All right. And now we have decent hand here. I could keep this just for some removal if I need it. Now let's go ahead and do that. That's fine. So they started with a character that has tough. Let's toss her down. So as mentioned, that got discarded and their nexus took additional damage. We can toss this down and we'll draw another card that'll give her even more power. That's great. And now let's attack in. So they're defending here. This will end up removing this, but we can go ahead and deal some damage to make sure that he dies as well. So now they don't have that character anymore. And their nexus just keeps taking damage from those blade edge discards. Could just remove this. I think I might do that. Just keep them from being able to attack or do anything to us. And then we'll drop another 1 cost. Let's do a discard and draw. Give her even more power again. We'll attack in with everything. They have to defend. And let's push a little bit more damage into their nexus. Now, pretty much anything I do next turn, they lose. So, there we go. Alright, this has also essentially, you know how we said our spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. Even though this doesn't have that skill symbol, it still counts as a skill. So whenever any ally attacks, it deals 1 damage to the enemy nexus. And actually, there you go, you can see the skill here. It does count as a skill. So let's grab this guy, plus he's cheap. We can just toss him out pretty easily. Oh, giving her quick attack is nice for us. She ends up scaling a lot of power up, so then she's able to attack in and not get removed as easily. Ooh, this is good. So this is another keyword, lifesteal. Whenever this unit deals damage, that heals our nexus. So that can be very good. This is also decently strong. It'll both summon a unit and deal damage. So it'll be or drain. So this will both heal our nexus when we deal damage, and it does 2 damage here, plus we have the power that'll make it do, so we'll then end up doing 3 damage. So we heal for 3 and we summon a creature. So let's go ahead and just grab a couple of these. Could even grab multiple of these guys. I'm just going to buy a ton of stuff here. This is sort of flooding our deck with things, but why not? Let's have some fun, right? Makes our deck a little less consistent, but in general, all these things were pretty strong, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, most of these cards are good. We'll toss this one back, just because they are elusive, but we're not really playing into that too much. Here, let's go ahead and just remove this so that we don't have to deal with them removing one of our cards when they block. Alright, we're going to toss her out. Remember, she powers up whenever we draw. So we'll then toss this one down so that we draw and she gets stronger. And then we'll go ahead and attack in. We're going to block and trade. That's fine by us. We don't have any way to get rid of that guy. We can just end up blocking with her. Though we could drop this. We might draw a card that will... Oh, so, okay, so I guess they're not attacking in now. Yeah, that's fine. We can just end the turn if they don't want to attack in. Let's drop Jinx here, I'm thinking. Otherwise, I could drop 2 characters. Let's actually do that. We can drop 2 characters here. And then we can use some of our spells to remove their board. So, 4 damage here. Just go ahead and remove one of those. And then we'll attack in. And that's enough to kill them. Alright. See what rewards we get. This, I think, is what we're going to want to take. 3 damage to the enemy nexus whenever we use it. It's already a really good card for us, so this just pushes way more damage into their nexus. Subtypes, these are things like, you can see here it says Fae above the character. There's a bunch of different subtypes like, you know, dog, cat, Yordle, other things. There's certain things that interact with characters of certain subtypes. And so this just allows them to get all the interactions. But in this case, I think this is going to be much more powerful for us. We don't really have any subtype interaction in our deck currently, so no real synergy. Alright, I think if we grab another one of these, this has been going quite well for us, being able to draw those powerful spells. Just heal our nexus and travel here. Let's take a look at Garen's power. Garen, if the foe has the attack token, his units get +1/+0. So he's just going to continually buff up his board whenever he has the attack token. Here we don't have any low-cost cards, so I'm going to discard these 2 to try to draw something. It doesn't look like we have any turn 1 draws, but luckily we get this card in our hand every turn, so we can use that to remove his attacker. Let's go ahead and drop one of these. There we go, that's great. So again, this will deal 2 damage. We can discard a card, deal 2 damage to him, 2 damage to the Nexus. And we get another character. And luckily this character has Attune, so when they drop, they gave us a spell mana. And each round, the first time we summon a 1-cost unit, we refill a spell mana. So that'll be great for us. We don't have any 1-cost units in our hand right now, but this does allow us to get the spell mana we needed to remove that character, and now we can attack in without risk of either of these dying. So that's great. And let's go ahead and use another one of these. Allows us to draw more spells. Let's do a discard. We're going to discard this guy and kill these 2. Give us another 2-cost character. We can defend with one of these, that's fine. And then we're just going to kill their Nexus. Alrighty. That gets us a little bit closer to the shards we need to level up Jinx again. I think we actually did get enough progress on the Battle Pass, and I'll show you how to grab that as well. So I think we did get enough progress on our Battle Pass for the first reward. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so we got some rewards up here. Let's grab what we can. So we got some Jinx shards. What else did we get? Oh, we got 40 fragments for Yasuo, so that should allow us to unlock yet another character. And then let's also go back here. We have the Battle Pass here. We haven't paid for the Battle Pass, so we don't get any of these things, but we do get the free rewards, and this will allow us to get some Poro King shards. So we can unlock yet another character. Now let's go in there. These are some general rewards we get for the base game. So get some login rewards. I'm just going to claim these. This, again, these rewards aren't really affecting the Path of Champions PvE mode. These are just rewards for the sort of base PvP game. It's highlighting our Battle Pass again. We already... Okay, yeah, there's nothing to claim here. It was just... not sure why it was highlighting it again. Alright, so... Okay, got a bunch of stars going on over there. I wonder if this... Sorry, let me back down here. I think probably a bug there. Let's click Play Path of Champions. Not sure why it's having all those flashing stars on there. It's still happening. Alright. Don't know why. That's interesting. Let's go ahead and unlock some more characters. Great. And we will unlock this guy as well. And I think actually in each case, the first star here should only cost 10, so we can unlock the first star for each of these as well. So this one has, if we have 4+ unique keywords, at round start, all our allies get +1/+1, so that's quite strong for just scaling. And then for Yasuo, what is his 1 star? If we have the attack token, it stuns their strongest enemy, so this will also help us push damage. For now, we could try one of these characters, but let's go ahead and get the other adventure for Jinx. Thanks. We have some really weird glitches that are happening here. Wondering maybe if I just restart my game real quick, this will go away. I don't know why you have all these visual bugs, so give me just a moment here. Let's try to restart the game and see if that fixes it. Alright, looks like those visual bugs went away, so let's go ahead and go to the Fey Sorceress. That should give us the second part we need here to get Jinx to 2-star. So let's do that. Alright, giving all our allies +1/+0. This is great. Helps us push more damage into their Nexus. Again, Jinx is a character where we're just trying to rush them down as quickly as possible. So this works into that strategy. Alright, we have some removal and some other cards, so let's just keep everything we got there. They can't do anything on turn 1. That's good for us. We can get more cards out here. Let's just summon this and attack in. And there we go. Quick victory. It's Jinx's specialty. Alright, this is a decent card for Jinx. It's a bit more expensive than we'd like. It will make all our spells and skills deal 1 extra damage though, so that's pretty strong. This could also be good if we already have like a board established. We can just discard a card and give all our allies +1/+1. Let's actually take this one. Having a ton of units on the board and just buffing them up tends to be pretty strong for us. Here we have some cheap units on this side. Darius is also a character that does help push a lot of damage into the Nexus. He has spells that deal damage to enemies and the Nexus, as well as like this character, when they die, they deal damage to the Nexus. That can be very strong. Lucian, however, is a very cheap champion, so he's able to quickly get out there and level up and deal damage to their Nexus. He also, just in general, pretty strong. His level up allows you to rally, which lets you attack additional times when another one of your characters dies, so that can be very strong. Poppy, also very good. These are all just pretty much couldn't go wrong with any of these options. She has cheap units that grow in strength. Let's actually, I think I'm just going to use Poppy here. This will allow us to toss down cheap units that already have. We have that power that just gives all our units +1/+0, so just tossing down a lot of cheap units is pretty strong for us. Let's add more items to our cards that are already in our deck, so we'll go this way. All right, so I think we can keep this. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4. We basically have a ramping ability to use all our mana gems, and should be able to do things pretty quickly. So we'll let that go through. Toss down this. They're not doing anything, so we're just going to go ahead and toss down another one, and then attack in. Okay, so they have a 3 cost or a 3 attack character here. I can toss down a 3 defense, but then I also have this that grants all my allies +1/+1. It is at focus speed, so unfortunately I can't use this as a reaction. So I'll probably have to just defend against this with one of my cheaper units. I was hoping I would be able to defend with this, but they will likely attack before, before I get a chance to cast that. So unfortunate, but I think we should be able to win this turn. Ooh, our Nexus actually took some damage because we drew some buff caps. But let's go ahead and discard a card, get some more damage in here. They do not have enough to defend against us. They put more puff caps in our deck, but we were able to take them out. So that's first time so far. I think our actually on that Teemo adventure we also took some damage. Again, this discard card is good for us, just because we're discarding a lot of cards anyway. Giving this unit Overwhelm is not too bad. Let's go ahead and do that. Scribe of Sorrows again. This is a good one for us to get more mana gems on the first turn, potentially. Allow us to either drop more units or potentially a more expensive unit on the first turn. I like having my champions. I don't have any turn 1 play in this. Sorry, in this case. But we can toss her down, get our spell mana. It's unfortunate, nothing we can do about that. They're able to remove her. But we'll use one of our spell mana to toss this guy out and get some damage in. Alright, we'll put her down and we should be able to defend with her to remove him. And then we'll play this, just give him an extra power. Alright. Let's go ahead and toss down Poppy. And we'll attack again. Alright, we pretty much just need to play 2 cards next turn and we win. So we'll play 1 here, and then we'll play our second. Doesn't really matter which one we use. There we go. I just like having more of this card. Discarding and drawing is what we do a lot of, so let's just grab more of that. This time I think we'll have enough money to buy 2 of this, so we will have 3 mana on turn 1, which is great. This makes it this card cost 1 less, and when we play it, we discard a card to create a multi-region follower in our hand and reduce its cost by 1. So that seems pretty good. Let's just go ahead and grab one of those. I would buy more, but I don't have enough money. So then we'll go here and we'll actually use the heal to heal up some health that we had lost due to those puff caps. Fizz. Round start, refill all players' spell mana. So in this case we want to keep a lot of spells in our hand if we can, because we should be able to spend those with that free spell mana we get. So let's just toss a lot of this back, see if we can get some spells. There we go. Alright. We'll discard and draw a card. Another one.
Looking for a hero for my hero.
And let's give her some more power. We're just getting rid of everything here. Alright, in this case we got regeneration on this character. So normally, when a character takes damage, that damage is permanent, but with regeneration at the end of the round, as long as they didn't die, they regenerate their health. So that's good for us. Unfortunately, they're going to be able to attack in. We don't have any elusive defenders, so we just have to suffer. We're going to go ahead and discard, just because that'll help us deal more damage to their Nexus. We're not going to be able to drop Jinx anyway. And we should be able to get our final damage in here to end it. There we go. Okay. Let's see what reward we get. So after we complete one of these middle adventures, we always get a champion thing. So in this case, Poppy benefits from attacking. The more times she attacks, she buffs up our deck. So I think let's go ahead and put that on her. Spellslinger, this is good. Makes of all our spells cost one less. This one allows us to put copies of things in our deck, which is okay, but really not that great. This is more long-term if you're just trying to print different cards and have a lot of that card. This allows us to get a copy of a card that we played last turn, but I think this is the strongest in this case, so we'll go ahead and take that. Let's go down to the champion chest. Maybe we can get another good improvement for one of our champions, or make one of our champions cheaper, ideally, so that we can drop them on turn 1. That would be really good if we get that. Let's just keep this guy. And there we go. Alright, we're going to discard him, get the stronger version, and then we'll toss down another. Already doing half their Nexus in one turn. That's great.
Got this from a side quest.
We're still able to defend against this with him, but they could beef her up. Don't really have any responses, so we'll just toss this down. Looks like they're not attacking in, so that works out for us. If we attack right now, we'd be guaranteeing 7 damage, and they only have 9, so I can then play this guy next and destroy them. Oh, but they do have a stun, so actually they're going to take no damage. That's unfortunate for us, but that's the way it goes. So we'll try to just draw some more cards.
I am here until I am no
Let's
more.
keep on drawing.
I'm on it.
And remove this. There we go, I think we're going to win here. Scrabble from full board. Back in. Alright, these scrap scuttlers are great for us just because we can discard them, get more units on the board, so we'll grab one of those. Again, being able to draw cards when we drop is good. I'm going to just use a reroll. See, perfect. Get the cheaper cost, so now potentially we can drop her on turn 1, which would be fantastic. All these cards are a bit more expensive. I don't really want more expensive cards in my deck. We're going to head up towards this item chest to add another item to one of our cards. So I'm going to get that. Great, we got Poppy in our opening hand. We only really need one copy of her. But let's toss back the rest of this and see what else we can get. Alright, in here we get the free attack. It's going to push a lot of damage. In this case they did get a defender out there, but we already got a lot of power on her just by being able to attack in early. Let's discard a card and draw.
I don't say this often, but don't be a hero. I've got a new tactic.
Alright. Got a strong board already here. Toss this out. And then buff up our entire board. And attack in. There we go. Alright, see what rewards we get. This is good on him, so he has the ability give allies with equal or less power than me quick attack for the round, so that makes it so that they attack first. And so if we give him more power, he's going to give more of our characters quick attack, so that's great. Making this cheaper is good. That means it'll only be one cost for us with our power that reduces spells by 1, so that'll make that very cheap, so that's good for us. And we don't need to heal any health. Let's go to the final boss of the adventure. Alright, so Lulu has the power where she transforms our strongest follower into a 1/1 squirrel and silences it. Silence basically removes all their keywords, so like we have here with the overwhelm or regeneration, it removes all of those things from them, basically makes them a very low strength character, and makes it easy for the enemy to remove them, so that would be unfortunate for us, but luckily that doesn't happen to champions, it only happens to followers. And so by putting this champion out as our first character at the start of next turn, this will not get transformed into a squirrel. So we get to keep that out, keep benefiting from it. Let's go ahead and discard this guy, draw a card. They're not their attacks in here. We do see this one got transformed, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and drop this because he has overwhelm, and we will just attack in with everything. There we go. And now, because they were able to remove the other squirrel, this one got squirreled as well. So let's just keep dropping more stuff though. Go with something with a little bit more toughness. Let's fully defend here. We have another Poppy in our hand. We can drop her next turn, so I'm not too worried about that. And that should just allow us to win right away.
Today's the day I find that hero.
There we go. Alright, so by completing that quest, we should now be able to unlock the 2-star version of Jinx, which is great. anywhere you can see where you get champion shards early on for characters is really good. That way you can strengthen up those characters for the harder adventures that you'll have to take on later. So, some more things. Let's grab those rewards. Okay, we got a silver chest. It's going to give us some more champion shards for somebody. Got some Nami fragments. Haven't unlocked her yet, so still need to collect enough shards to unlock her. Alright, so now we got a relic. We can equip that. I'll show you how to do that. And we get some champion fragments. It's great. By the way, at any time, if you want to see what champion fragments and things you have, you can click this button. This shows, okay, we have 5 wild fragments. This can be used for any champion. We have 10 Ornn, 25 for Jinx, 5 for Lee Sin, and 10 for Nami. The only one that we can do any unlocks with are this one. So if we click over here to the champion, we can see it says it's upgradable. So then we click on the constellation, and we'll go ahead and get that upgrade. That's good. And now we unlocked our first relic, so let's go ahead and grab this and put this on Jinx. So now whenever Jinx attacks, she automatically gets +1/+1, so it'll be great for her. The more we attack with her, the stronger she'll get. Alright, we'll go back and continue here. We did get another reward, more legend points. So we're still going through this. Next time we'll get weekly adventures unlocked and we get more cards on sale. So let's just take a look at our sort of to-do list here. Win an adventure with an Ionian champion. So the way we can see what champions are from which region. This is Ionia, this pink one here. So we can just filter for Ionian champions. We have Yasuo unlocked, so if we win an adventure with him, then we will get that reward. That'll get us closer. I didn't see how many points we need. We need 4,000, so that'll get us to 2,500. It'll get us closer to that reward. We also get 1,000 for getting another 1.5 star adventure. Now that we have Jinx to 2-star, we should be able to do that pretty easily. We did also unlock another campaign thing here, so we got Darius, and he will reward us with a relic, actually, that is a strong relic, and we get 3,000 legend points. So doing this adventure would automatically get us to this next upgrade where we get our weekly adventures and things like that unlocked. So that's probably the ideal next thing to do. Let's see what other things we have on here. If we defeat Gangplank and Ezreal, we get a reward that this it doesn't show. It's kind of weird that it doesn't show what this reward is, but this is like a cosmic blessing. But this, if you equip it on a character, it'll make it so the next adventure you do with them will reward extra EXP, and so that will level them up quicker. Going through a character, you can see if you click on champion level here, which rewards they get from each of their level ups. So we've already leveled Jinx up to 6 with what we've played so far. This has increased, so like with this card, it provided at level 2, gave it the +1/+1 at the start. This one, it gave him quick attack, so that's great. That makes it so when he attacks, he has that like sort of first strike ability. We improved our Nexus health, so rather than starting with 20, we start with 30. Our support champion, so this is that first character that we get added to our deck when after we start an adventure, we get a power, we have our first battle, and then we get our supporting champion as our next reward. This gives them a random common item. This aeronaut gets a Targan's Brace, which just allows them to give another character you're attacking with +1/+1. Next thing we get is a revive token. This means we can lose one battle during our adventure and not have to start over. We can redo that single battle without having to restart the adventure entirely, so that's always great. This one, if we get to 8, we will get a rare relic slot. So right now, this is just a common relic slot, but we'll be able to equip blue items next. So we don't have any blue relics yet, but that Darius adventure that we were just looking at, that will allow us to upgrade this to a blue slot and use a stronger relic in this slot here. So that'll be good to do. So we have a couple options here. Can run through some more, try another character. I generally would recommend pushing for the strongest rewards you can get, really pushing this level up so that you get more content unlocked, like these weekly rewards and everything like that. But in general, I would say mess around, have more fun, look for what you're enjoying. If you're enjoying a specific character, I would play all the things that get you rewards for that character, so that you can continue to strengthen them and try out more items and pieces with that character. I will leave that for just a moment here, and I'll probably have just another video going through the next piece of this as we continue to level up, but this is already almost 2 hours going through the initial playthrough here, so I'll try to not make this too much longer, and yeah, if you have any questions or other things about what I've gone through here, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer that in future videos or respond directly to your comments and answer those questions as best I can. So thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.